You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
As we know, guys, there is a real push in today's society, today's radically woke leftist society, for the progressives to have men, biological men, competing against women in sports. It doesn't seem to matter which sport it is. They don't care if it's combat sports. They don't care if a woman is out there getting her head bashed in by a biological male. Never mind all the other things that cause the situation to just be unfair. Wingspan, cartilage, joints, height, overall strength, things that just make the competitive unbalance unfair and, frankly, unsafe as far as I'm concerned. So we've got a former, of course, New England Patriot legend, also Tampa Bay Buccaneer, multiple-time NFL champion, Rob Gronkowski, in my opinion, the greatest tight end to ever play, with a slight nod towards Tony Gonzalez and Shannon Sharp as well. But Gronkowski did truly play tight end, whereas somebody, in my opinion, like Travis Kelce is more of a wide receiver. Gronkowski would get in there and block his ass off in the passing game and in the running game and get ugly in the trenches. He'll walk into the Hall of Fame, very likely first ballot. And guys, Gronkowski had some unbelievable seasons. When he was 22 years old, he had 1,300 yards and 17 touchdowns. That 17 touchdowns, by the way, led the NFL, the entire NFL that year. He was a 4-time All-Pro and a 5-time Pro Bowler. So let's get to this, because Rob Gronkowski, we know Rob Gronkowski is not scared to get canceled. He's not scared for the wolves to start coming out on the X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. He's not afraid of the backlash. He has come out, and he is pissed all over the idea that biological men should be allowed to compete against women in sports. We need to be very careful. Women need to be very careful, because if they don't start as a group, as full teams in full sports, walking out, and I think they're going to have to do it very, very loudly, very publicly. I think it's going to have to be in a place like some world championship trials, something to get you into the Olympics, something that's going to be on NBC or Fox Sports, or something that is very visible, an entire team. For example, that team that had to compete with, and the teams that competed against Lia Thomas, those women should have just walked out and said, we're not doing this. We're not going to entertain this any longer. It's absurd. Let's get to this. Rob Gronkowski's not having it. Last month, NFL great Rob Gronkowski was asked point blank, should men be allowed to play in women's sports? Gronkowski was walking through the U.S. Capitol when a Daily Caller reporter asked the former tight end the question. The 4-time Super Bowl champion shook his head for an emphatic no and remained silent. Gronkowski did not provide an explanation at the time, because he says there isn't a need for one. The Patriots legend says it's, quote, obvious it should not be allowed. Well, he decided to make a lengthy statement to Fox News Digital about this subject after all. Quote, there's really no thoughts to really even share. It's obvious, Gronkowski said. There are men's sports for men. There's women's sports for women. It should stay just like that. It's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that, man. There's really no argument. There really should be no conversation about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we sit back enough and go, 5 years ago we would be like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, they're going to throw somebody in the asylum for even thinking about doing something like this, right? That's crazy as hell. But here we are. Real life has become a Babylon Bee article. Well, I mean, that's just, I think they literally have a section now where things have come true that they had made jokes about. Quote, how it's been is how it should be. Men play men's sports, women play women's sports. It's as simple as that. It's really unfair if a man went into a women's sport and played it. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. The 34-year-old retired after 11 NFL seasons, winning 4 Super Bowls, 3 with the Patriots, 1 with the Bucs, all with Tom Brady throwing to him. In his final season, he had 802 yards in a dozen games played. That's a hell of a lot of yards for just a dozen games. We know Gronkowski's always been pretty outspoken. We know he likes to party, have a good time. But it's not often that Gronk gets involved with more serious subject matter. And I think it's going to take people of his ilk, people of his stature in the landscape of sports to start speaking out against this kind of thing. Okay? I mean, Gronkowski was a massive NFL superstar for a lot of years. And he's going to be probably a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. And it's going to take somebody like him coming out and making statements like this. I mean, you're seeing more and more people. I think more and more people are starting to understand the idea is absurd to even have entertained it, but it is happening. Not only is it happening, but it's happening in things like MMA. I did a video not too long ago where a woman had to take on a man in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's crazy. It's dangerous. Somebody's going to get Apollo Creed out there, and we all know what Ivan Drago did to Apollo Creed in Rocky IV. It ended badly. Throw the towel. Throw the damn towel. It's eventually something is going to happen. It's not going to end well. Is it going to take that to squash this movement? And even then, is anybody going to care? We saw the young lady that's been severely injured, her eyesight, in a volleyball game because she was playing against a biological male out there. It's absolutely nuts. And we've seen coaches that have spoken out against this kind of thing lose their jobs. It's absurd. I know a lot of politicians in a lot of red states are trying to completely squash this. It's an insult to Title IX. It really is. And of course, people like Megan Rapinoe, who was an outspoken lesbian feminist for years, has sold out women on this issue as she conveniently no longer will have to compete. She wants biological men on the U.S. women's national soccer team. Crazy. Absolutely absurd. Kudos to Rob Gronkowski for not actually going with the I'm afraid to be canceled, no comment act. You know? Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.